Hey there everybody, hope your day's going well. The Incredible Old School Gaming here, and welcome back to another Wild Wednesday. So it was actually the last Wild Wednesday with, the Lavender Town creepy theory, whatever. Yeah, honestly, I didn't think I'd have to review a ProtoMario video before actually going through with the commentary. But yeah, I wish I had that time. At least this time I have, and yeah, at least the audio can be heard this time. So apparently this theory is that Voltorb is Haunter in a Pokeball. I wonder, is that just because of the eyes, or is there something a little more substantial? Because, yeah, some people might have similar eyes. That's not really a connection, it's just a coincidence most of the time. Unless they are related, then yeah, obviously eyes can be similar. And anyway, enough of that, let's get into whatever ProtoMario has to say. Hopefully this doesn't take too long.
Arceus created all Pokemon, yet some remain questionable on how they actually came about. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Theories, the show where we pray to our Lord and Savior, Arceus, so that he doesn't send us to the distortion dimension where Giratina will feed us to White Hand and bury it alive.
Well, Arceus initially would have created a bunch of Mew, and then the Mew would have transformed and then eventually adapted to whatever they transformed into, and then Pokemon were created. At least that's what I would personally think, but as far as how some other weird looking Pokemon that are like ice cream cones or lanterns or maybe lanterns and also chandeliers, or is it supposed to be chandelier or chandelier? I don't really think it matters, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe it's more that people are experimenting on Pokemon, and scientists are essentially playing God, as it were, and that's how some of the weirder Pokemon come to be. As for the more natural Pokemon, especially throughout First Gen, it's more just adaptation to whatever element that they're in, and then that's how they survive, and they just don't transform back into Mew. They get stuck that way, and will just live on their lives. Not too much, but at least that's what my theory would be.
I asked my Facebook followers which theory out of the three choices they wanted me to do, and they chose that Voltorb is actually a possessed Pokeball. So big shout out to those who are my friend on Facebook. This one's for you. But not only them, many people have asked me to do this one, and so it shall be done. This is one of the most generic theories available though. So, in summary, the theory is that Voltorb is a Pokeball that was possessed by Haunter.
Really? Interesting, but then the Electrode and Gengar are not the same at all. Is that just because when Haunter possesses the Pokeball, does it create something completely different, like a whole new subspecies or something like that? I mean, personally, I would say that no, that's probably not it. Just because, well, maybe someone saw a Voltorb or an Electrode, and just went, hey, that would actually be a perfect design to hold Pokemon. And then they model it after Electrode, not that Haunter possessed the Pokeball, then became Voltorb. But I don't know, that's yet another theory, so let's see what else you have to say.
The reason this is somewhat believable is because of the design of the Pokemon. Cosmetically speaking, they look completely different aside from the eyes. And hey, if you were a ball under high pressure all of your life with no legs, no hands, or mouth, you'd be pretty pissed off too. So considering Haunter is a sadistic Pokemon that licks creatures to death, I'm not surprised by the similar eyes. Aside from that, there are very few similarities. Theory debunked, guys. It was just a physical thing.
Oh, really? Okay, well, okay, I guess you debunked the theories, so, well, I guess that's gonna be it. See, wait, no, hold on, you still have about 8 minutes left. Well, under 8 minutes, but... So the theory is debunked a minute and a half into your video, and you have, what, 8 minutes to talk about how it's debunked, or are you trying to reinforce the theory? What's going on here?
But Proto, that was really short theory. But Proto, everyone says that. But Proto, when is Pokemon Bank coming out? Comment section, please. This is Pokemon Theories. We go much more in depth. So, where were we? Ah, yes. Physically speaking, many Pokemon look and sound similar. For example, Charizard and Rhydon's cry sound very similar. And Kangaskhan, Nidoqueen, Nidoking, and Rhydon look pretty similar too.
Well, maybe it's just that they look similar because they eventually evolved in... Maybe not the same exact area, but in similar enough areas that their evolution adapted to what was best suited for their needs. Perfect example, in our own world, there are many different species of bird. Are you going to say that they're all the same just because they all have wings? No, there are, big birds, there are small birds, there are medium-sized birds. And they fly because that's an easy way to get around. And also, depending on the different region of the world, they might have, different color feathers to either ward off predators or for camouflage, or maybe a mix of the two. Do they all have the same... Can you, trace their DNA all the way back to the same exact ancestor? Maybe, but does that mean that they are all exactly the same? No, they just evolved and adapted based on the needs of where they lived.
But with little evidence, that leaves a lot up to assumptions, and that's not what I like to do. Simply consulting the Pokedex may help us out on this. Looking at every entry of Haunters, the only thing relevant that I could find was that Haunter can slip through solid walls. Voltorb's Dex entries left me wondering a few things though. From the anime, Voltorb. The identity of this creature is unknown. It has an extreme personality, uses electric attacks, and at times self-destructs. From Stadium, it was discovered when Pokeballs were introduced. It is said that there is some connection.
So is this like a chicken and the egg type thing, which actually came first? I mean, personally, I would think that someone saw Voltorb and went, hey, that's a perfect design for a ball that would capture Pokemon. Let me do that. And then maybe officially Voltorb was entered into like the international database that, well, Professor Oak and all the other professors would eventually update and then see, oh hey, we have these Pokeballs, that's cool. Then later, oh hey, we have Voltorb. They have a very similar design. So, I mean, and the hell, who's to say which was actually discovered first? Because, I mean, hell, it was, again, in our own world, the Inca learned how to irrigate hills. Meanwhile, other regions of the world would just go, no, we can't put farms on hills. We have to make it all flat, chop down the trees, dig out the stumps, till the ground, and then we have a bunch of farmland. But the Inca decided to, irrigate the hills because that's what they had the most of. Yeah, anyway, the point I'm making is, who's to say what was actually first? Was it the Pokeball first, or did someone see Voltorb? And hell, maybe they didn't even know what they saw. Maybe it was just like out of the corner of their eye, and they just went, wait, hold on, what the hell was that? Where did it go? And then maybe several years later, they just went, okay, you know what, we need a device to be able to capture Pokemon, and subconsciously, they made it after Voltorb. And then later, Voltorb was actually officially discovered. That scientists went, is that what I saw when I was designing Pokeball? Wait, what's going on? Maybe something along those lines.
That makes several connections. So let's begin by examining the move pool that both Pokemon potentially share. Haunter can learn Thunderbolt, Rain Dance, and it can be taught Explosion through Move Tutor in earlier games like Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Well, a lot of Pokemon can be taught different moves that they wouldn't normally move. You can't really look at, oh, hey, all these different Pokemon can learn this move. I mean, hell, take Meowth, for instance. Meowth can be taught Bubble Beam and Thunderbolt, despite being a normal type. Yeah. And the natural learn set for Voltorb and Haunter would be completely different. So, a connection... the fact that they can be taught things just means that they're smart Pokemon. Doesn't mean that they are related.
Interesting that a ghost can learn moves that have nothing to do with its own typing. But what is more interesting is that Haunter is made up of gas, meaning it has the possibility of exploding. However, in an Electric Tail of Pikachu, Ash attempts to capture a unique Haunter known as the Black Fog. After weakening it enough to capture, the Black Fog used Self-Destruct to prevent its capture. Self-Destruct? That sounds an awfully lot like another Pokemon. With such rage, anger, and claustrophobia, it's no wonder that becoming an encapsulated Pokemon leads to this random mutation.
Okay, so let's take this one bit at a time. So Haunter's made of gas, and gas can explode, but it has to be under the right conditions. As for that one, what would you call it? Pikachu, what? Oh, okay, the Electric Tail of Pikachu, right? So that was more just a unique one-off. Hell, you even said it was a one-off variant, and it used Self-Destruct to prevent itself from being captured. That just more... to me, that more just leans more towards the intelligence of the Pokemon, rather than that Haunter and Voltorb are somehow related. And yeah, Voltorb does learn Self-Destruct on its own. Thing is, it learns it on its own, not naturally. It does learn it naturally. Haunter doesn't. That's what I'm trying to go for. So, and then a little further in, going a little deeper in, your theory is that since Voltorb would be a possessed Pokeball, Haunter gets so angry that it just learns Self-Destruct, so that way it can just be done with things. And then you're drawing a connection between Voltorb and the one unique Haunter in the manga. I think you're stretching things a little bit here, but maybe that's just me.
Consider this also. Let's say after the implementation of Pokeballs, a Haunter was floating through walls and accidentally captured itself in a Pokeball. Technically, since it wasn't properly caught by a trainer, trapping itself in the ball would create a great deal of hostility and anger. This would cause extreme pressure, angst, and hate. Considering how long Pokeballs have been around, it would explain the amount of Voltorbs there actually are. And since Haunter transmigrates to an electric Pokemon, it would naturally seek out electricity, explaining the whole power plant thing.
Okay, so Haunter would just, go through walls, apparently not paying any attention at all to its surroundings. Then a Pokeball that hasn't actually been assigned to a trainer, well, it accidentally captures itself. And then goes from a ghost type, well, ghost and poison type, to an electric type. And that maybe the power plant was more than just a power plant at the time. Maybe it was also a manufacturing plant creating Pokeballs. But then once, I don't know. Is it part of this theory that Haunter travel in packs or herds or flocks or whatever a group of ghosts would be? and then they eventually just take over the place because now they're exploding all over the place, trying. Hell, maybe that's it. Maybe the hunter's trying to get out of Voltorb, or out of the Pokeball, but it can't because now it's become a Pokemon somehow. But the Pokeball is designed specifically to capture Pokemon. Are these prototype Pokeballs where maybe Hunter's able to actually possess the Pokeball rather than get captured by it? I'm so confused here. I mean, how you've got what? About what? Well, no, it's under 5 minutes, 4.5 or so. I don't know. Math is definitely not my strong suit, but I don't know. Is that it? Were the original Hunter that possessed Pokeballs, were those Pokeballs prototypes before the actual Pokeball was finalized and then sent out en masse to Pokemon trainers around the world? Maybe.
As well as its evolution, Electrode. It's an entirely different Pokemon, thus an entirely different evolution. But wait! Something doesn't seem right. Hunters don't just constantly migrate into Pokeballs, do they? In Pokemon X and Y, hunters aren't even found around the Pokeball factory. Where then? Where do these Voltorbs come from? And how do they get to these power plants? Well, when Pokeballs were being developed, they were usually testing on Pokemon. Just like when Silphco was testing the Master Ball on Pokemon for its development. When it came time for Silph to test the Pokeball on Ghost Pokemon, it created the Voltorb.
Okay, so that would almost kind of reinforce my own theory that maybe the Pokeballs that the Hunters originally got into were prototype Pokeballs before the design was actually perfected to catch Pokemon. That would make sense, and maybe maybe that original Pokeball factory was taken over by Voltorb, and so they had to move everything to finalize the Pokeball to where it could actually be designed to capture Pokemon, so on and so forth.
Not wanting the public to know about its accidental creation, Silph dumped them at the power plant, trying to prevent the discovery of their creation to the Pokemon government. That's why there is no explanation for what exactly this Pokemon is, or how it was created.
Well, that would make a lot of sense. How I'm sure the Pokeball itself would have been, a huge government-funded project, so the government, in order to prevent an investigation on itself, would just kind of erase things and move things around, so that way they can get to whatever they need to do. An interesting theory.
It also explains the affinity for power plants and why it became an electric type over anything else. This would explain the anger, stress, and pressure these Pokemon feel being trapped without a proper trainer, and often why they explode with little to no provocation, because they hate life. But one thing still bothers me about all of this. Haunter may be a sadistic Pokemon that enjoys and revels in torture, but it isn't known for possessions. In fact, it's rarely mentioned that it possesses people or objects. However, there is another Pokemon that could potentially be a Voltorb.
Oh, okay. This entire theory has been about that Voltorb is Haunter, and it possesses the Pokeball, but only the eyes come forth. But now you're saying that it can potentially be a different Pokemon. Okay, well... okay, well, which Pokemon is it? I really hope it's a First Gen Pokemon, because beyond First Gen, I might know the Pokemon, but I won't know much about it, or its learn set, or anything like that.
This Pokemon is known for playing practical jokes, which it carries out by embedding its plasma body in electrode devices. Research continues on this Pokemon, which could be the power source of a unique motor. Its body is composed of plasma. It is known to infiltrate electronic devices and wreak havoc. Who's that Pokemon? It's Rotom, an electric ghost type that is able to possess certain objects and completely change its typing. Rotom possesses machinery in the Pokeball factory, pulling pranks when it accidentally possesses a beta Pokeball, trapping itself and causing it to become an entirely new Pokemon. Theory debunked? Regardless of if you believe it's Haunter or Rotom, this explains more than they have the same eyes. Remember, Pokemaniacs, all theories can use more thought to make them way more convincing. Now then, I have some Voltorbs to go explode. I'll see you guys next time on Pokemon Theories. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and leave your opinions in the section below. Agree or disagree, please let me know what you think in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to check out my Pokemon Theories playlist, where I have already completed 70 in-depth theories, all waiting for you to watch. I am ProtoMario, and I'm signing out. Good gaming, and God bless.
Okay, well that is definitely an interesting theory, and it does have some use, I guess you could say, because maybe there is something to that electric ghost Pokemon that likes to pull pranks, but then accidentally gets itself caught into a Pokeball and then becomes something completely different as it does. I mean, yeah, like you said, the term you used was a beta Pokeball. Personally, I would call it a prototype, but to each their own. So yeah, maybe that one ghost does accidentally get into a Pokeball, but then tries to mess around with it, but can't actually get out. After all, the Pokeball itself is designed to capture Pokemon, and it is a Pokemon. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's something to that electric ghost Pokemon. Maybe there's something to Haunter possessing the Pokeball. Maybe neither one is true, and Voltorb is just a unique Pokemon that happens to look like a Pokeball. And yeah, checking our egg, was the Voltorb seen first, and then the Pokeball model on it? Or was the Pokeball just designed? And hell, maybe they added the colors to the Pokeball after seeing Voltorb. They just went, you know what, this is going to be kind of neat. Or maybe that didn't happen. Maybe they just painted the top red just because red is an easily identifiable color. Well, there's not much more for me to say here, so yeah, that's going to be it for this Wild Wednesday. If you have any ideas for a Wild Wednesday, put in the comment section down below. I'll give it a quick look over and possibly do a Wild Wednesday on it sometime in the future. Who knows when. I'll see you there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video. And of course, have fun.